Today we got the pilot for the Knights of Guinevere. The show premiered on Glitch Productions' YouTube channel and it's about 26 minutes long. This pilot is a bit more experimental compared to their other titles, as it's Glitch Productions' first two-dimensional animated series. Gooseworks was originally planning to make her series 2D. However, at the time Glitch apparently wanted to make her show 3D, as that was what they were used to. However, since then they have seemed to have changed their mind. Before we get into the video, here's what I will cover. First off, I will go over a brief overview of what happened in the pilot, and then talk about any details that I noticed while watching the episode. I will go over what I admired about the episode, what I think could be improved on in the future, and finally my overall thoughts. If you like this sort of content and you'd like to see more from me, then please hit that red subscribe button, and also like the video as it really does help me out a lot. Now, without further delay, let's get started. Starting off the episode, we see a young princess figure walking around a giant bedroom, with a factory new Guinevere laying on a bed. She is seen tampering with Guinevere before being called out. She is shown the planet park that she will inherit, and we then see the same Guinevere that was on her bed with her stomach slashed open, guts spewing out. Somehow the Guinevere gains sentience and jumps off the building in hopes of escape. We then get a flashback sequence of Frankie and Andy from when they were kids at the park. Back then they had met a Guinevere android, and that interaction seems to be their inspiration for what they strive to be in the present day. We cut to present day and Andy is haggling with a shop owner trying to get some change for the vending machine. We find out that the locals don't like Andy very much because she is an engineer for the people in the tower. Due to this, the shop owner denies her service and they drive away after Frankie steals some parts. Cutting to their house, they are both working on their trinkets and gadgets. Frankie seems to be having a good time working on some small personal projects, while Andy is depressed working on her projects that she was given at work. The one that she's working on at the moment seems to be some sort of Five Nights at Freddy's looking animatronic head.
Way to go, superstar!
After various trial and error, she finally gets it working. They then both head off to work and we see a brief montage of Frankie's day as an engineer. This seems to be in the lower class sector. We then cut to what looked like Frankie's second job, which is catching scrap with a fishing boat. Park Planet then looms over and dumps a load of rubbish onto the top of the boat and into the water. It's at this point that Frankie finds a ripped apart and torn up Guinevere android. After digging it out of a pile, Sparky immediately decides to sell it for scraps, as he thinks it would be worth a lot of money. While carrying the android back to the garage, Sparky tells Frankie not to try and fix it. We then cut to Andy storming out of a room in the tower, throwing her project into the bin. She then goes back into the town centre and immediately gets insulted by locals. She gets coughed on and she has to put on a gas mask. We then cut to an advertisement of Park Planet featuring Orville, talking about all of the different types of Guinevere that there are. Apparently they remember who you are and your interactions, so Guinevere can remember you for when you next return to the park. Frankie is watching this on the computer while they ponder whether to steal the Guinevere model and repair it. Once Andy gets back from work, Frankie proposes that they fix it, and Andy reluctantly agrees. They start their journey by taking Sparky's boat to the repair lab. Once they dock at the lab, they are greeted by Sparky and his crew who aren't very happy. After fighting for the right to fix the android, Sparky lets them on one condition. That condition is that he gets to sell the working version of Guinevere. They agree to the deal and we find out that Andy's saliva is blue, just like the man who was coughing earlier. Oh yeah, and Andy got fired as well. They go underground and enter a giant industrial area with domes dotted everywhere. They start transporting the android before being ambushed by an Elden Ring Night Rain boss. The design of this thing is sick, by the way. In the credits, this Goliath is called Sir Arthur. After a few narrow misses of the sword, they get tossed into next week, and Frankie wakes up surrounded by embers. Frankie briefly hallucinates a conversation with Guinevere, and we see the android standing up to Sir Arthur. The door of the elevator shuts and chaos can be heard outside. But when the door opens, all that is seen is the Guinevere android, blood, and a defeated Dark Souls boss. The elevator leads them to a repair station where Guinevere gets treatment. The final shot is a POV shot of Guinevere looking up at the younger versions of Frankie and Andy, and the credits roll from there. This pilot had a lot in the 26 minutes of runtime, but I will be sure to cover as much as I can. Starting off with any details that I noticed in the episode, I first of all noticed that there was a reference to murder drones in the Gaslight District in the scene where they are trying to catch a toy from the machine. We can see plushies of N, Uzi, and Mel inside of the machine. Later, when we first see Frankie laying on the boat, next to him is a QR code that when scanned takes you to this website where there are pictures of Guinevere with Slenderman looking scribblings on them. As I mentioned earlier, Andy's spit is blue when she shakes Sparky's hand, and considering that the man she was talking to earlier was coughing blue liquid, it can only be assumed that at this point she is sick. Also, Sir Arthur I believe is a reference to King Arthur. This can be backed up when you realise that the robot is holding a sword, and King Arthur held Excalibur. Moving on to what I liked about the show, I think the pacing was pretty good. It had a quick start and then it slowed throughout the middle, and then finally picked up near the end. And for a pilot, this is a pretty good way to pace the episode, especially if you want to introduce characters and not make it too long, too short, short or too boring. The voice acting was pretty good and the background art was amazing compared to a lot of other 2D animated shows that I've seen on YouTube. Moving on to what I think could be improved, I think that they could have made the characters more memorable, either by using their names more often or just by giving them more impactful moments. However, this is just the pilot, so I'm not going to remember every character already. Also, I'm worried that this show won't do as well as they are hoping for because the marketing has been pretty lackluster. They have made a trailer, a teaser, and reposted some fan art, but that's pretty much all that I know of. Other than that, I can't really think of any negatives at the top of my head. Overall, this pilot is pretty good. I think that considering that it's the first 2D animated series that Glitch Productions has put out, the level of quality that they have brought out is extremely high. The show has a talented team of animators, a diverse cast of voice actors that fit their characters really well, and they have produced a pilot that has made me wonder what will happen next. I just hope that despite the lack of hype that the show has received, it can still succeed compared to its competitors. If I had to rank this pilot compared to the other pilots on Glitch's channel, I would put it below The Amazing Digital Circus and below The Gaslight District, but above pretty much anything else. It's extremely good, but doesn't hit the spot like those other two pilots did. However, of course, I am just one person, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. So as of yesterday, I hit 20,000 subscribers, and I'm so thankful for everyone that has supported me over my time of making content. I have a lot of things planned for the future, so be sure to stick around for that. I'm also going to see how quickly I can get to 30k. So for this, I'm going to need everyone's help by subbing to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button, as it really helps the algorithm give it to more people who might be looking for this sort of content. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for 20k. That's all from me. See you later.